Welcome and hello. This is a tutorial video in the EPANET Toolkit titled Patterns. In this lesson, we are going to create patterns and edit patterns using the EPANET Toolkit. What you see on the screen here is the EPANET Toolkit documentation. I'll leave a link to this website in the description of the video. Over on the left menu here, I'm going to click on API reference. Actually, I'm going to click on the little triangle to expand the reference options. Same thing here on the main page. Now I'm looking for the pattern functions. So let's scroll down here to time pattern functions. And if you click on that, it gives you the pattern functions right here. You can also click on the triangle to expand that list here in the side menu. So time pattern functions that are available to us is to add a new pattern, delete pattern, retrieve the ID name of a time pattern given its index. Okay, I'm not going to read all of these right now. One function that you may expect to see in this list, but don't, is getting a pattern index from an ID, because we've seen that for links and junctions and other objects. And unfortunately, the documentation, at least as I'm seeing it, does not have that listed as a function. However, I was curious and I went to the GUI and just started typing it in, en underscore get pattern, and then sure enough, we have a en underscore get pattern index that's referenced right here. Because I have my user interface set up in such a way that it's recognizing the C++ environment and the original files that we downloaded in this EPANET 2.2 toolkit folder. So these are the files that we downloaded, which I have referenced from right here. So if I didn't even spell it right, this is supposed to be an underscore. That's why when I type in en underscore pattern, it gives me all the suggested functions that are available to me. Well, most of these are in the documentation, but this get pattern index function is really important. Okay, let's go back to the documentation. The three functions we're going to work with first is add a pattern, and then we're going to get the pattern index, which I showed you exists, but not in this list, and then finally set pattern. So the set pattern function is right here. I'll click on that. Parameters is going to take the project handler and then the pattern index, which we'll get from the get pattern index function. And then after that, the third parameter is the values. This is an array of the multipliers that create the pattern, and then the length. Let's go ahead and get started with a simple example. This right here is my boilerplate code that I've been using for a lot of the lessons so far. I'm going to write my code right here. Let's go ahead and delete this. Actually, let's go ahead and just say save. I'm going to be initializing this project, so I'm not going to be opening up an existing .inp file. And then right here is where I'm going to go to work. I'm going to be pasting in starting on line 9. Okay, so what I pasted were these lines right here. The first function is to add a pattern. I'm going to call it pat underscore J1. That's the pattern ID. And then using that pattern ID, I'm going to pass that to the pattern index function, which we just talked about. That will assign a pattern index to this integer function pat underscore J1 underscore index. So you can think of this particular pattern as being a demand pattern of my junction J1, but the names can be whatever you want. Okay, let's go ahead and see if that works. So I'm going to Control S to save. Then I'm going to show my terminal window here and then run the build and run.batch file. If you're unfamiliar with what's happening here, I recommend you check out my lesson 2, where I talked about how to use a batch file to automate the compiling and running of the program. And if you're totally lost on the whole setup, check out lesson 1. That's where I talk about setting up the environment altogether. Okay, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and run that. It looks like it ran. We are echoing out that pattern J1 uses index 1 and then execution complete. Also over here in my project directory, I have the files I expect to see, which is the object file, the executable, and finally the input file. This is the network file that we can load up into an EPANET project using the graphical user interface or load into a script using the en_open function. Before we look at this input file, let's go ahead and just add some values or some multipliers to our pattern, and then we'll take a look at that input file. So we've added the pattern. we've got the index. Now we actually need to add some values. So starting here on line 18, I'm going to be pasting in a few lines of code, 19, 20, and 21. Here are the values that I'm going to be using in my first pattern, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The length is 6, and then here is the function and its usage for that set pattern. So I'm passing it the project handler as well as the pattern index, which we got right up here, which I realize I spelled wrong. So let's call it pattern J1 index. And then the values are coming from this array, and then the length is just the number 6. All right, so I'll go ahead and save that. Then let's go ahead and run this. So run again. Same response from the terminal window. That looks good. Over here in the network.inp file, I'll just double click to open that up right here. And then I'm going to scroll down to my patterns. Here's the pattern section, pat underscore J1. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, pretty straightforward. We could look at this in the graphical user interface, but what I want to do is provide a little bit more advanced example first, and then we'll do that. So let's close the network1.inp file. I'm going to delete everything that I've entered so far, which are these lines here, add pattern, pattern index, and set pattern values. We're basically going to be doing the same thing, but with more data. So starting here on line 9, I'm going to paste in about 34 lines of code. Let's go to the top. So right here on line 9 is where I started pasting in the C code. What I've defined is pattern names. I'm going to create 4 patterns. They are residential, commercial, agricultural, and hospitality. And then I've got a few other variables that I've defined up here, such as a pattern name, pattern index, and a length of 24. Because each of the patterns, as you'll see, have 24 multipliers or 24 values. Starting here on line 15, I have a at values array. This is a two-dimensional array of double values. I'm going to have 4 different patterns, each of which have 24 different values or multipliers. So you have to declare the size of the array up front like this, or this is one way to do it. In C, here are my multipliers for residential pattern. Here are my multipliers for commercial pattern. So I'm sort of assuming that this is like a junction demand pattern, even though, of course, patterns can be used for all sorts of things in EPANET, like reservoir head, operations, energy price. So here's agriculture, hospitality. After that, I'm going to be looping through that array. 1 through 4 here, or 0 through 3 rather, represents the 4 different patterns. The first thing I'm going to do is create the pattern and then get the index of that pattern. So everything here is what we did before. Lastly, we're going to be setting the pattern, and we're going to be passing in the pattern values. So that is it. This is going to save the input file, but that's not what I pasted in. That's always been there. Let's go ahead and see if that works. So I'll click on Control S to save. Let's go down here to the terminal. I will again compile and run. Okay, that looks successful. I'll open up the network1.inp file, scroll down to patterns, and we have data. That's good. I'm going to make the screen a little wider. Okay. So there's way more spaces in this file for my preference, but hopefully you can see. Over here to the left, we have the pattern ID for residential, commercial, ag, and hospitality. And then we have the individual multipliers listed out over here. So for residential, there's 4 lines, which all have 6 values. So there's 24 values there, 24 values for commercial, ag, and hospitality. All right, so below that, we have some of the other sections to the input file, which don't have any data yet, but this lesson is about patterns. So let's go ahead and finally check out what this looks like to confirm in the EPANET GUI. So here is a EPANET instance. I'll go File, Import, and then Network. Navigate to that network1.inp file. Let's go to the data browser, click on Patterns, and boom, there we go. Residential, commercial, ag, and hospitality. If we just go ahead and double click, we'll select and then click on Edit. This is the pattern that we input for our residential. You can see the multipliers are right here, so that should be the same values that we input. Okay, let's close that and check out the others. Here is commercial, so a little bit different. And then third is agricultural, all right, just in the early morning. And then finally, hospitality looks kind of like residential. All right, nice. So let's go and close that. Let's go back to the documentation and do one more example. There is a function here for get pattern length. So what you saw me do already was just hard code 6 or 24, but it looks like we can the pattern length based on the pattern. Let's see, pattern ID or pattern index. Okay, so it takes the pattern index. I'm not going to demo that, but just so you know, it's there. There's also a function for load pattern file. So what this does is loads a time pattern from a file. Looks like we just referenced the name of the file containing the pattern. So that's nice to know. I'm not going to demo this, but it would be something I may be using. And then set pattern value, the very last one here. What this does is sets a time patterns factor for a given time period. So what we would do is specify the pattern index and then specify the specific period or the period within the pattern and then the value that we want it to be. So we can go ahead and surgically make edits to individual patterns to change individual multiplier values. So let's go ahead and use this one. I'm going to actually go back to EPANET, open up one of my patterns. Let's take a look at the ag pattern. So it's averaging 1, but it's actually a value of 4 for 6 periods here. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. What I suggest we do for a change to use this function set pattern value is to change this last period from 4 to a 2, and then the next period after that, make that 2 as well. So 4 to a 2, and then from 9 to 10, that would be 0 up to 2. We'll save it. We'll return to this and make sure that it worked. Right, so let's close this, go back to our Visual Studio. Let's close the Network 1 input file. I'm not going to delete anything. I'm just going to come down here below what we already worked with and then paste in multiple lines here. What I just pasted in is right here. I'm going to be getting the pattern index for our ag pattern. So AG is the pattern ID for that agricultural pattern. It's going to be getting my index, and then I'm going to use index as the second parameter when I'm setting the value to 2.0 and 2.0 for period 8 and 9. Okay, or 9 and 10 is what it says, but I've already tested it. This should work. If not, we can make an edit to adjust that period by 1. So go ahead and save, just Control S to save. And then again, let's compile and run. Okay, so that looks successful. Let's just go straight to EPANET. I'm going to go File, Import, and then Network. No, don't need to save changes. And then load up my network1.inp file. Let's go ahead and click on Patterns and then boom, this is what I was looking for. So what happened was last 2 values you're seeing here with the value of 2, those are what we set using that last change of the set pattern value function in the EPANET toolkit. All right, well, that's it for this lesson. What we did was check out the different ways to utilize patterns in the EPANET toolkit using the documentation online.